Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Honest Am here, the creator and writer of the Honestly Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And I am here for another daily motivational video where we use the tarot to become the alchemists of our lives and to teach us how to become spiritual beings. A little bit about me. I do not just use the tarot. I use God and cusses in the same sentence, and I may mispronounce some things, but if it does not stop Charlemagne the God, it will not stop me. So guys, we are going right on back to, not even right back to, but we're going to our rainbow cards. I love these so much. Full disclosure, I actually just did a reading and it kind of just cut off, which is really unlike, really, I haven't had that happen in a while. Angel number 45. So I'm just going to take it that message was just for me. So we're going to go back into it. God, guardian angels, ancestors, what information do you have for us to become the alchemists of our life, to teach us how to become spiritual beings, or just to help bring heaven on earth? God, if I say anything, guys and girls, if I say anything in this message that touched you, please give me a thumbs up. You don't have to wait to the end. That just lets me know that you're out there and, we're exchanging energies and we're vibing. All right, so the card that we're going to focus on is mystery, along with frustration. So I feel like, which is kind of cool because the card, to full disclosure, the cards that came out before was actually intuition and frustration. So it's still kind of going in the same realm where I feel like a lot of us are starting to get a little bit frustrated with the spiritual journey. And I feel like you're frustrated because you're trying to make logical sense of the spiritual journey. Your mind is trying to make logical sense of a spiritual journey, and nothing about the spiritual journey is logical. Angel number 141. So God is saying, allow yourself to go on this mystery of life and just really strengthen yourself, strengthen your foundations deep down inside. But don't take my word for it. I'm actually going to go to the book to just get a little bit more information about this card of mystery. And yeah, the card, it was the same message. It was just like you're getting frustrated. It was actually more so talking about your intuition and the need to ground down in your body more. So doing yoga, starting to do some meditations, maybe doing some type of energy work like Reiki or sound healing. Also, light healing can help as well. The mystery card represents the idea that it's okay to not have all the answers all the time. Embrace the various mysteries of life and let things happen and unfold as they need to. Surrender to the unknown. Oh, I love that because honestly, guys, I'm going to be completely transparent. There has been just a couple of things that God has placed on my heart. And I have been trying to logically make sense of it. Like, I've just been like wanting to get some type of like external validation that this is really going to happen and that this is really, really what I think it is. And like, I feel like this message is coming out, and the message before was just like, you just have to just trust that it is what it is. Like, you're not going to know all the answers, and we have to just kind of allow ourselves to go on this adventure. Like, I was trying to like understand, like, I'm like, so am I clear knowing? Because there is times that I just know things and I don't know how I know them. So I'm like, is this real or am I making it up in my mind? Like, I'm trying to logically make sense of the spiritual journey, and God is saying, just allow yourself to go on a mystery. Allow life to unfold naturally. And also, like, guys, we have to understand that the purpose of the spiritual journey is not so that you can always project the future or to try to figure out some shit. It's to be able to be okay in the here and the now. It's to the essence of spirituality is contentment. So it's like knowing how to be okay with where you are now. And also where you are now is nothing but a reflection of your past thoughts. So it's like there's no need for you to try to logically make sense of how this thing is going to come about, because when it's time for you to get there, you're going to get there. You don't want to waste the time thinking about something that hasn't happened yet and keeping you frustrated and also fucking up your vibration from where you're trying to go. Like, just focus on where you're going and just allow life to happen naturally, okay? The card of frustration, though, for some reason, despite all your best efforts, you aren't able to achieve what you're working towards, and that's frustrating. Instead of getting angry or disappointed, take a step back or a break from whatever is going on. What are some alternative approaches to this situation? Is there a solution that you haven't tried yet? with a new perspective help you find it. And so it's like God is saying, instead of allowing ourselves to become frustrated at what's happening or not happening in our life, really just allow life to unfold and just focus on the here and now. Okay? All right, God. Clarify this message of mystery frustration. What are you trying to get us to understand about allowing ourselves to, that popped out, allow ourselves to surrender to the unknown, about not being frustrated with us not having all the answers. And also, guys, I just keep hearing that, like, you can't try to logically make sense of the spiritual journey. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, we just have to fill it out and allow things to unfold naturally. Last time, God. What is this card of frustration about? All right. I love that. So that makes sense. For the mystery and the Queen of Cups, what God is saying is, instead of getting yourself so caught up in the unknown and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas or what's going to happen, God is saying, like, you really just need to, instead of focusing your time on trying to logically make sense of the things that God have placed on your heart, God is saying, really spend your time grounding down in your body and getting connected to your emotions, because your emotions is what ultimately is going to help you get where you need to go. Earlier this week, this weekend, I had pulled, same deck, I had pulled the cards of cleanse and flow. And for, I want to say it was the card of flow, it was saying, like, be like water. And it said, be like water, because water always gets where it needs to go. And I was woke up yesterday, Sunday, and I was talking to my dad, and like something just told me to call my dad or whatever. So I called to check on him, and then I was telling him, like, we were talking, and, you know, some personal stuff is still going on with family. And he was just asking me, like, so how are you? I'm like, you know, I didn't get this job that I thought that I really wanted, but, you know, I'm just going to be like water, because water going to get to wherever it needs to go. Like, just pretty much reiterating what I had just heard, angel number 711. And so my dad, he then tells me how it was this story on the news about this developer who developed these, lands, these condos and stuff in this old swampland. And that he's getting frustrated because every year it's, the water comes in and floods it out. And my dad is like, people are so crazy because nature's going to do what it needs to do. Water's going to go where it needs to go. It's like we think we're so big and bad that we're going to do whatever we need to do, but nature will always rule supreme. And that's what God trying to let you understand. Like, ultimately, you're going to get where you want to go. It is written. Like, it's already set in stone. If you've seen it, if you felt it, if you cried those tears, like, if you can see it clearly, it happened. It's done. So it's like, instead of trying to logically make sense of how this is going to happen, instead of wasting your time going back and forth and being like, oh, so if I do this and do that and do this, do that, do this, just drop down in your emotions, get focused, get grounded on becoming one with your emotions and your intuition and allowing that to lead you, and it will help you move on to where you're trying to go. I mean, this message was so plain and clear. You will strengthen your confidence, and you will literally go where you need to go. You will move on to the next phase without all of this frustration. But the frustration that you're feeling, the reason why you're not allowing yourself to just surrender to the flow of life, is because you keep going back and forth, because you're like, I trust you, God, I don't trust you, God. I believe in it, but I don't believe in it. It's like, I'm on this journey, but I'm not on this journey. I believe this vision you gave me, but I don't believe it. But God, show me how it's going to happen. It's like, either you trust God or you don't trust God. Plain and simple. Okay? All right, y'all. So I actually am going to leave the message there, and I'm going to end this with a black angel card. I'm going to end this with a black angel. All right, God, clarify this message of the Queen of Cups, mystery, Two of Pentacles, and frustration. What are you trying to get us to understand about our double-mindedness causing frustration? How can we just surrender to the flow and trust that it will get us where we need to go? How can we just surrender to the flow and trust that it will get us where we need to go? Allow no room for doubt or confusion, God. How can we surrender to the flow? The bottom card is ours. The moon child. Angel number 1007. Every time I see this card, I'll be like, hi, girl. I'm the moon child. I don't give a fuck. I'm the moon child. That's me. I'm a moon baby. It's like, but I am realizing more and more that I'm not really, I probably shouldn't call myself a shadow worker because I'm not a shadow worker. I mean, I shouldn't call myself a light worker because I really am more a shadow worker. Like, I work through my shadows and I shine light on them. So that's really where I work from. I work from my dark parts. I'm a shadow worker. Like, I don't really, and I also don't do anything out of service for other people. I do it in service for myself. And then if it feeds other people, then great, but I'm really doing it for myself. So it's like, I'm really kind of not really a light worker, but whatever. And that's not negative. Like, it's honestly, to me, for me to acknowledge that, that's actually growth in me, because I used to be a people pleaser. I used to do everything for everybody else, but now I'm realizing that I'm nothing to everybody if I'm not something to myself. You know, like, I have to put the oxygen mask on myself first. Angel number 1111. But the card we're going to focus on is the moon child. So, if you selected the moon child, let me see, where are you? Okay, if you selected the moon child, you create your own struggles in life. You are caught up in your own web and it's very complex. Unweaving yourself from your own struggles is your deep soul work. You'll need help because it is difficult for you to name your own struggles. You can only feel them. How can you go through your fire to the other side of suffering? Are you driven by your suffering or feeling stuck in the middle of it? Can you view your personal struggles as collective suffering? This is your work. So I really feel like you guys need to start a practice of yoga. Yoga really helped me out a lot. I don't know why. And all of a sudden, I honestly got caught. I almost got sidetracked and got taken away from yoga for a minute because somebody was like, yoga's evil. And I'm like, nobody has control. Like, nobody has control over you. Like, you have to realize the number one rule in this matrix is that free will reigns supreme. So nobody has control. Nobody can do anything to you unless you invite it, unless you give over that control. Okay. So yoga is a great tool because it helped me be able to come one with my intuition. Yoga is really just, especially the yoga that I had, it just really focused on you being on your yoga mat and not focused on anybody else or what anybody else is doing. And so when I was able to do that and like sit in my own energy for an hour at a time, what I realized is like, oh, my energy is amazing. Like, I love my energy. And also it made me realize that when I was like moving out in the world, I told this story once on the channel and I'll tell you again, I was doing yoga for like a year straight. And for a couple of months, I would notice that I would do yoga. I would feel amazing for like an hour or two. But then by the end of the day, I would feel like shit. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, what is this? And what I realized one day, we were sitting in a conference room and my coworker, the person who sat right behind me, she just bust out crying and was just like, I'm so sorry. I think we had asked her like, well, how was your weekend or what you been up to? And she just like bust out crying. And she was just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just keep having miscarriages and I'm just so fucked up. Like, she just like had a complete meltdown. And I was like, oh, like this makes sense. This explains why like I was feeling certain type of way. Like why I was like not really like, yeah, like it made sense. Like why I was like, I would start my afternoon feeling amazing, but then by the end of the day, I would feel it because her grief was like literally leaking over the cubicle. So it's like, that's why I would really say that you guys should do a practice of yoga because it really helps out a lot because you can learn to identify your own emotions and then you will be able to trust your intuition and that'll let you be able to surrender to life. All right, y'all. Angel 1437. So let's focus on this. You are clear in the moment. Moon child. You are more than just a child who plays. Your clarity is so blunt and logical, it can shock people at times. You are a truth slayer. You can be so radically honest and forthright that others might think you are rude. You expose all shadows as you, moon child. are awake when others are asleep, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Therefore, you awaken others and shake them out of their stupor. You, Moonchild, come to us jumping up on our beds, disturbing the illusions of comfort. This sharp edge that you bring awakens and goes deeper into the heart in both good and challenging ways. You are the light in the darkness. You dwell in simplicity, yet questions the complexity of life. You will question that which have no answer. Your path is to illuminate the obvious. Your abundance of light in the dark leads us to the changes we seek in our lives. In particular, you are keenly aware of the wounding of our childhood and how it reflects in how we think and feel as adults. With your seeing eye, you help to clarify the confusion that arises when we feel pain of our past that takes up resonance in the present. You, Moonchild, understand how wound shapes our spiritual path. You help us remove blame by pointing us back to our hearts and to the original experience of suffering, including the legacy of suffering from those who came before us. As a result of being the Moonchild, there are many emotional shadows around you. They can be from childhood, from family, or from ancestors. These shadows are unintended wounds which can create a constant roller coaster of emotions in your life. With unintended wounds, your vision or insight is limited to the past of your past. With unintended wounds, your vision or insight is limited to the pain of your past, rather than what emerged from the wisdom in your bones. This limitation can be frustrating as others try to get you to view others. This limitation can be frustrating as others try to get you to view other ways of seeing life. You are frequently moody, rage, and anger may rise when feeling neglected, ignored, or unseen by others. Your pain may have embedded its deep in your heart as innocence was frequently bombarded with the realities of life. Your spirit tends to sleep when it shuts out painful childhood experiences that arise in adult day-to-day interactions. You do not feel up to responding to the world. In essence, on a sleeping path, you are confused about what is going on around you as past experiences collide with present ones. Your spirit is still reliving something ancient. Moonchild, it's time to integrate the lessons of the past with present day living. Those wounds have not taken away the innocence in which your heart dwells in, the open discovery of life. What is hurting in you? What response did you have when you hurt as a child? Are you responding much in the same way as an adult? How did you feel most times as a child? Do you feel the same today? These questions are to help illuminate the true nature and the nature of the wounds. The clarity you possess, Moonchild, can propel you into reconciling the child with the adult. A child's clarity is the purest of knowing, and you are unique in having preserved such a quality throughout your life. Angel number 1814, so Moonchild. God is asking, what emotions are inside of you? What's blocking you from trusting yourself and just surrendering to life? What unintended wounds is blocking you from really just surrendering into the unknown? These are the things that you need to think about. All right, y'all. That's all the messages I have for you. Angel number 1835. If you made it to this end of this message, please give me a thumbs up. If you made it to the end of this message, you are not subscribed. What are you waiting for? Until we meet again, dream those dreams. Never let the internet rush you. And never, ever, ever let someone tell you you cannot do.